And welcome into Week 14 in the NFL. Fantasy football questions answered live. We're a little late today, but, you know, we press on here. Sunglasses McGee over there.
Yeah.
Had a night last night. Who's shocked?
Sure did. Army beat Navy. Let's go.
He got together with an Armyman and a Marine, and, yeah, Army-Navy game.
2 Army guys.
Was it? I thought Mongo was in the Marines.
Nope.
Oh, okay. My bad. All right, 2 Army
No,
guys.
we actually did have a Marine with us. And I will tell you this. If you've never been with a bunch of dudes that are from different levels of the military, they say some of the meanest shit to each other. And it is so damn funny.
So the Army guys were happy.
Oh, yeah. One of the Army guys brought a box of crayons and kept throwing them at the Marine.
Nice.
Like, I know. You tell me which color's your favorite. Which flavor do you like best, you dumb bastard? Yep, that was my night. And then next thing I knew, I was waking up this morning going, oh, shit.
Yes.
And the computer for this show was locked in the trunk of my car. So that's why we're an hour late today.
Yeah, had to up and go fetch that.
Sorry about that.
Week 14 in the NFL. Of course, welcome in our good friend Armchair Commentary, David Smith. Once again, you can check him out on Wednesday nights for Sportsocracy, the Ocho.
We got some news to talk about on Wednesday.
What's that?
$700 million news.
It's just a record-breaking deal in Major League Baseball. Who cares?
He will make $191,000 a day, every day, for the next 10 years.
He makes, if you combine the largest contract in the NFL, NBA, and NHL, his contract is bigger than all of those.
Isn't it going to be fucking hilarious when the Dodgers still don't win a World Series?
Still going to choke because they're still the Dodgers.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Exactly.
And you know how much that bothers him? Not a fucking drop.
None.
Nope.
None. Get your questions into the YouTube stream here. We'll get to all of them before the program is over. Of course, we're going to wait on we'll give you all the breaking news on the inactives. We're waiting on a couple of quarterbacks to be cleared to play.
It's a big inactive day.
Boys, I have one very simple question.
Yes,
who is the guy that you are dog-pilling into your fantasy lineups today? Because I have one that I haven't heard anywhere else, and I cannot fucking understand why.
All right. Armchair, you want to take that first?
Alvin Kamara.
Him I have heard.
It's a great one.
Him I have heard, and I get why you're doing it. I respect it. I understand it, and it is not the one I am talking about.
I wish I'd have gone first because that was mine. But my secondary is Joe Mixon.
I never played Joe Mixon in DFS.
At 6,100, I mean, I feel like it's not a shoe-in, obviously, but with all the pass-catching work that he's done, I mean, you can do a lot worse.
I damn near never play Joe Mixon in DFS, and let me tell you why.
Why is that?
So I play exclusively in tournaments. I don't play cash games because I don't care about winning $20. I don't give a shit. I want to win lots of monies. I want to fund a debaucherous weekend in Las Vegas, Nevada, not a debaucherous Big Mac. Okay? So I don't give 2 shits about winning $20. And Joe Mixon, over the course of this entire year, has scored more than 21 points. How many times?
Last week.
Twice.
That would be Monday, Bob.
Oh, okay.
End of message. Repeat the line.
Yeah, it was last week.
At 6,100, he has paid that price off at 3x exactly 3 times all year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see it against Indy. I mean, he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why you're doing it. There are other running backs I like better. This to me is a cheapest week. This is also a week that you better be careful because there's in the words of the great Ollie Williams, it's raining sideways everywhere, like in all of the places.
The East Coast is a mess.
Yeah, where we're sitting right now, it looks like Kurt Cobain's brain out there. Just sad and dark and rainy and awful. To take that another place, and he was going to say something awful. I see the look on his face.
It was.
I
I thought you were going to throw in a Scattered Showers reference, and that my friends, is not how we play this
No.
game. That would be mean, and you should never joke about suicide.
And yet you did.
I didn't.
And yet you did.
I didn't. I was throwing the warning out in case anybody thought about it.
I was
shouldn't.
making a grunge joke, and you made a crimes joke, you jackass.
It's the one time he gets to do it, Jeremy. You got to give him.
100%.
It's true.
Yeah, because most
All
of the
my
things he
meanest
finds
things.
funny cannot be said on the radio ever.
Let him cook. Let him cook. See what
Yeah.
happens.
Hot dog water and fucking Vienna sausages. That's what he's cooking over there.
Jeez. All right, who do you got, Jeremy? Who's the
Explosive
guy?
thunderstorm.
My no doubt hammer of the day is one Lamar Ebenezer Jackson III.
But you used Ebenezer last week.
It's funny you
gotta
say
find
that
another one.
because you want to guess my quarterback percentage, who I have the highest.
Lamar Jackson?
It's Lamar Jackson, yeah.
So I did that thing that I do every week, which is I go to PFF because they tend to be the most accurate on ownership projections. They're not accurate on damn near anything else, but they're real accurate when it comes to ownerships. If you had to guess who the highest owned quarterback of the day was going to be, who would you guess?
Who would I guess? Jake Browning.
Jacob Nathaniel Browning is correct.
Wow.
Who's two?
Can I use a lifeline here and ask? Is it in a 2:00 game?
Yes.
Is it Justin
His 2 o'clock
Fields?
games are our 1 o'clock games.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Is it
Justin
Justin Fields?
Nathaniel Fields would be correct. Where does Lamar fall in?
Oh, I don't know, probably 10 or 12.
He's 7.
Yeah.
He's 7 behind Justin Herbert and Russell Wilson.
Behind Wilson.
Stop. For the love of all that's good and holy, stop. There's another one. So I only have 2 quarterbacks today. I am all in on A or B.
I won't cheat because you already told me who the other one is, so you could tell.
It's Josh Allen. It's Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. End of message, repeat the line. I'm 50-50 split on both. I have the exact same lineups. One with Lamar, one with Josh Allen, because that is how confident I am in what I am playing in DraftKings today.
Looking for a 9/11 bump?
No, it's not so much that as that's going to be the highest scoring game of the day, I think.
I think you're right.
And I don't love Pat Mahomes.
I agree completely.
I think Pat could be fine, and the element Tank convinced me on this. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is so damn cheap that I almost feel like you have to do it. It's the same way I feel about Zach Moss. Do I think either one's good? No. Do I think you can get by without playing either one? Also no.
Zach Moss is one of my favorite running backs. I'm also partial to James Cook.
I don't mind James Cook. I am finding it really hard for me not to play 2 tight ends, and I'm finding it really hard for me to not play the 2 running backs I just said.
No.
I can't find a way I don't do it.
Week 10, 16 points. Week 11, 19 points. Week 12, 16 again. And the only drawback for James Cook is he doesn't find the end zone enough.
Correct.
That's the drawback for Cook. When they get down there, it's usually Allen sneaking or Dalton Kincaid catching a floater to the end zone. But I feel like if you had to play, you have to play a piece from that game. I don't think it's. I think you're doing yourself. You're shooting yourself in the foot if you don't play someone.
If you don't play the quarterbacks, who are you playing? I want to see if you have the same piece of this game that I do.
I mean, So I'm going to give away my sleeper pick of the day, I guess. Khalil Shakir is a guy that I'm drunk on. He's my drug of choice today. He's my hammer, and between him and Alec Pierce at that price point, I'm taking Shakir all day long.
I don't hate Shakir, but the one I can't get away from is Gabe Davis. I know he had a week.
Game Dave.
I know he had a game against Philadelphia.
Yep.
He very rarely has 2 games in a row.
Correct.
But this sets up to be a Gabe Davis week because Trent McDuffie is going to be on Stephon Diggs almost exclusively. he will travel with him because that is the only guy they're scared of. And if you look at Kansas City over the course of the year, when they play a team that only has one receiver, they go, you know what? The hell with it. We'll let that second guy just bleed us like a catfish, and we don't care.
It's one of the two of them. And I like Shakir's price better. That's the only reason I'm going there.
The only thing
Someone else is going to get the ball, right? One of those two is going to get the ball, and Dalton Kincaid's going to get the targets.
The only thing that kind of scares me about Shakir, and it's the reason that I went
Davis.
That I went Gabe Davis instead of Khalil Shakir, is if you look at how many snaps Stephon Diggs plays out of the slot, that tends to directly correlate to how much Khalil Shakir sees the field. And I feel like they're going to play Diggs in the slot more today to get him away from Trent McDuffie. I think he will still follow him there, but he's not as comfortable there.
Yep.
Now, that is assuming that Joe Brady is a smart man. And I'm not so sure of that. And if he's a dumb man, then what he just said, Khalil Shakir could find the end zone and be a great value at real damn cheap. We have our first one of these of the day.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Stone Sports Podcast. That would be Armchair's partner on the Ochos. He asked for another touchdown parlay. All right. Let's see what I can conspire there. I'll give you a hint. I'll bet you Lamar Jackson finds his way into this.
Yep. While you're working on that, let's get to a fantasy question here. The first one of the day from Juan Pulido. Which two do I start? Full
he does
PPR?
That just to piss me off.
What?
You do that thing
that
white people do at fucking Mexican restaurants, and you try to throw an accent on whatever you're ordering. Stop that
yes,
shit.
Sir, I'd like the carne asada.
I'll take the carne
Exactly.
asada.
Exactly, because that's how you're supposed to say it.
Shut the fuck up, Becky.
I'm here for
carne asada.
I'm here for an experience.
All right. Listen, Tanya, you just left your double wide, and you passed 8 cows to get here. Stop with the fucking accent.
Juan Pulido asks, full PPR, Brandon Ayuk.
I'm still drunk, and I will throw something at you.
Cortland Sutton. Let's see, Brandon Cooks, Rashee Rice, Romeo Dubs.
God.
Damn.
Take Cortland Sutton out of that, and I don't think you can go wrong. Because I want to play 3 of them. I don't know who your other receiver is or who you're playing in the flex. I want to play Ayuk. I want to play Brandon Cooks, and I want to play Rashee Rice. Everywhere. I love Rashee Rice today.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Brandon Cooks is not he's not in the main slate on DraftKings because that's the Sunday night game.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only reason that I wouldn't play him, but I think he goes nanners tonight.
So you would go Ayuk and Rice?
I would go
Ayuk
Cooks, but I would love to find a way to get Rashee Rice in too.
Yeah.
If we were looking at flex rankings, I will bet, and I got to pull this up to see where I had them ranked. I'll bet you all 3 of those guys are in my top 30.
Cortland Sutton against that Chargers defense. Don't care.
Yeah, I'll pass. I mean, if you have no options, like I would take Sutton over Romeo Dobbs.
Yes.
Only because there's 2 other receivers for Green Bay that I like. Just a whole damn mess.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden Reed, I like him many messes. Dontavian Wicks, I like him all the messes. Hey, by the way, you remember that thing I said in the offseason of around draft time of whoever gets Dontavian Wicks is going to get a fucking hammer? That's the reason an NFL team should hire me. Because I would have been threatening to burn the building down when we got to the 5th round if you didn't take him.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have probably locked myself in my office and covered myself in gasoline and threatened to burn the building down with all of you in it. So, and it's that kind of humor that you could have in your office for the low price of a shitload of money. Not Shohei Ohtani money. Cheaper than that.
Cheaper than that.
Isaiah Crandall says CJ Beathard is not good, and Joe Falco is going to come for the Jags today. So ride with Falco till the end.
Secret time, Joe Falco ain't good either. CJ Beathard and Joe Falco are the same person. I would say both of them are going to throw an interception at some point today. I would take both of them to throw for roughly 240 yards. The discrepancy will be who gets into the end zone. And I would lean to Flacco. I detest that game.
Mm-hmm.
I've stared at that game and stared at it and stared at it and stared at it. And I have Jacksonville on the assumption that Trevor Lawrence plays.
I like Cleveland in that game if Lawrence doesn't play. And I have one singular Flacco line, and I don't plan on having more. I think that I like Moore today because he's it, but I don't think there's going to be a ton of offense there.
Well, Amari Cooper did get cleared in the concussion protocol, so he'd be back for Falco.
Like
Oh, I believe we have breaking news.
I mean, you should like Moore because the relationship is there between him and Falco. I was reading a stat earlier today that was something to the effect of that he was, I don't know, like 50% or 50% of the time he goes over 8 targets when Falco is throwing to him. So, yeah, you might go with that. Let's break the news.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
Trevor Lawrence will play and start for the Jacksonville Kitty Cats tonight or today.
Today.
Which makes me like that Jags +3 a lot.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, have either of you seen what's happening in Baltimore right now? No. If they catch passes, you should not play them.
Really?
No.
Sideways?
Good God.
Sipocus?
It is a...
Gus Bus.
As my grandmother would say, that looks like a motherfucking hurricane. Good Lord. It doesn't take me off Lamar Jackson. It takes me off all the pass catchers.
Gus Bus all day long.
I'm going to pass. What? Whoa.
Or Keaton Mitchell.
M. Stone said he's in Baltimore. Can confirm. And Stephen Cattell called it Jumanji rain. Yee.
That's disgusting.
Yee. That's just gonna make me. It's gonna make me revisit some things for today.
Yeah.
I mean, every game in the 1 o'clock slate has wind. There is not a game that doesn't have wind issues, except Atlanta because it's played in a damn dome, and New Orleans. It's also in a dome.
Tell me all the Atlanta Falcons you're playing today. Go ahead.
End of message. Repeat the line.
None of them.
Would you like to hear the list again? I can't wait for Kyle Pitts to be stupidly owned because he caught 4 passes against the Jets last week because people don't realize that the Jets do that shit on purpose.
Well, I mean, it is tight ends against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so.
And that's why they will play him. They'll always turn the corner and Arthur Smith's figured it out. No, Robert Saleh forces you to throw it to tight ends because he is not going to let you beat him on the outside.
Right.
Sure won't.
John wants to know, start Love or Fields at quarterback?
Justin Ezekiel Fields.
Yes.
Esquire.
Yes. By $1 billion. And needs 3 of these 4, so drop one of these. DeAndre Hopkins, CEH, Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley.
Cortland Sutton.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. You were poo-pooing the CEH thing earlier, so that's the only reason I said that.
He's a running back in the highest scoring game of the day. Chargers, Broncos. Hey, you remember last week when the Chargers played the Patriots? This game could look very similar to that. I don't think it's going to end 6-0, but I could easily see it ending 13-10. And, I don't really like playing fantasy players in games like that.
Yeah. Okay. Concur there, Armchair?
Yes.
All right.
The Chargers suck.
Cortland Sutton also runs like he has a 2x4 in his ass, and I don't tend to like playing guys like that. However, there is a piece of the Denver Broncos that I can get behind vehemently, and that is Javonte Williams.
Okay, Danny Finn's fans got Javonte Williams in a start 2 possibility here with Breece Hall, Javonte Williams, Keaton Mitchell, Khalil Herbert.
Javonte Williams is the 1, 2, and 4. And I will say Keaton Mitchell is the 3. The one thing I will caution you of Keaton Mitchell, rain slows down speed. Keaton Mitchell doesn't do anything else. He is stupidly fast. He doesn't have the greatest vision you've ever seen. and this is going to be a big old slog in Baltimore. That really is just more indicative of how badly I hate the other two that you said.
Yeah. How badly you hate Breece Hall.
Yes.
And Khalil Herbert.
Fuck. I'm not sure I wouldn't play Arsenio Hall over Breece Hall.
And Khalil Herbert is losing touches to Roschon Johnson in that backfield. So,
and he's going to lose touches to Justin Fields.
Yeah, beware of that. Let's see here. Dubs or downs in a 20-teamer?
Ooh.
I want to lean downs on that one.
I am on downs on that one.
I am on downs. I'm team downs as well.
Mm-hmm.
Solely because Romeo Dobbs falls so low in the pecking order now.
Joshua Brooks wants to know, does he start Puka Nacua or Calvin Ridley in the flex?
Calvin Ridley. Puka Nacua is a Pats catcher in Baltimore today. I'm good.
Yes. Start 2 running backs for Kelvin Joyner. Jerome Ford, DeAndre Swift, Zach Moss, and Devin Singletary.
Zach Moss. It's between Ford and Swift.
I lean DeAndre Swift on this one.
I would lean Jerome Ford. I don't trust Brian Johnson. I don't think he's a very good play caller, and he loves getting away from DeAndre Swift.
He did it last week.
If I had $1 for every time DeAndre Swift had 6 or 7 carries in the first quarter and then had 6 or 7 carries for the rest of the game, I would have like $8 US.
Do you know what percent of the snaps he ran last week?
This is going to piss me off.
It was 42% of the snaps.
Stupid.
He had 42% of the snaps last week, and is it Brian Johnson is stupid? Is he banged up a little bit? Did they
Brian Johnson does that thing that new play callers do all the time. You are overthinking this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Look, football is I am one of the dumbest people you will ever come in contact with. I understand this sport because it's real simple. You can add all the candles and all the whistles and all the cute little flowers that you want to. This is a really basic-ass game. And guys like Brian Johnson make my head hurt because you're taking this real simple game and making it real complicated, which is real stupid.
Mm-hmm. Tammy Buchanan says, good morning, fellers. Good morning, Tammy. She says, I win, and I'm in. I lose, and I'm out. So let's make this count. Chris Godwin or Drake London, full PPR. P.S. She also has Noah Brown.
Ooh. Whoa. Tammy, you're breaking my heart, Tammy. It's not Noah Brown. They're playing the Jets in a hurricane,
in a monsoon.
Yeah,
it's like the worst weather of all the weather.
Yeah, of all the games. The reason I haven't talked about that game is because, well, half of it doesn't matter because you could tell me they were playing on clouds, and I still wouldn't like a Jet. They're playing in a monsoon, so it won't be Noah Brown. I think you have to go Chris Godwin.
Okay.
I don't trust Desmond Ridder at all. Mm-hmm. And I get that your team sucks. I get that your defense sucks. Mm-hmm. I don't trust Desmond Ridder to not have one of those big old grumper games.
Okay.
I think Godwin is the play.
I think he has to be.
He's the guy.
All right. I'm going to go against both of you on this one. And here's why. Is because Chris Godwin, probably the most disappointing fantasy player this season, for me anyway, because I had that thought of, Baker Mayfield, slot receivers, that could work. It hasn't worked. Godwin has not been good. It's going to be Mike Evans. He's going to get all the things. I don't trust Godwin to score double digits. I think Drake London could slip into double digits, even with Desmond Ridder as his quarterback. I mean, hell, he did it last time. I think he had like 6 catches against us the first time around. He didn't score, but if he scores and he gets the 6 catches, I just feel like there's much more high side with Drake London than there is with Chris Godwin. Because the thing that they're going to do is they're going to hit Atlanta over the top. Atlanta sucks against deep shots. And they're going to do that with Mike Evans routinely today.
Drake London has the better ceiling, but Drake London's floor is 0. It's 0. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and look up his previous, look up how many points he get against the Jets. How many fantasy points?
Oh,
I don't know.
It's a number less than 2. He's just.
Did he throw up a 0 last week?
No, it was a 1-8 last week and a 0 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's ugly. Like, look, Drake London's last game log, 1-8 last week against New Orleans, 14.
The most he scored in a game all year was 24.5, and that was with Taylor Heineke.
Yep.
Yes.
And here's where I would argue Chris Godwin. All right, so if we had a pie, Drake London gets all of the pie of the Desmond Ridder pie, and that is a pie that was made with cat shit and expired milk. So I'm good on that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I just think that you're safer with Godwin in a win and you're in situation. You don't want to risk playing someone that the floor can fall out from and under him. You can't risk putting up a 2. And Godwin will get you some catches. He will get some tote today. It's not going to be the best tote. He's probably not. Does he have the chance to put up double digits? Absolutely.
He's going to get Robert Alford too.
Is he going to be the guy not in that game? No, he's not going to be the highest scorer. Both are better than Noah Brown. I think I go Godwin, and I wouldn't even look back on it.
Okay. Let's see. Next question here.
She also had a defense question.
Yes.
Vikings or Ravens? I'll go Ravens, and I don't think it's particularly all that close.
Ravens defense.
Ravens is one of my favorite defenses of the day because it's in a monsoon.
Yeah, especially now with the weather. I would have been on that anyway.
I would have too.
Did you get the touchdown parlay?
I have one. Lamar Jackson, obviously he's plus 105. I don't see why he doesn't get in the end zone today. Looking at the Colts game, I would double up on Joe Mixon, Zach Moss, because I do think they're going to get in the end zone at some point. I don't want anything from Texans Jets. There's part of me that really wants to throw Alvin Kamara in here. He doesn't help me much, but I'll throw in Kamara and I'll throw Jerome Ford in there. That's a 5-leg parlay that pays at plus 7 and some change.
That's nice.
And I don't really see a way that any of them don't score.
Danny Fins fan asked, if you're playing the double tight end, who are you going with? Is it Kelsey and another tight end?
I like Kelsey Kittle a lot today. I like Kittle, Isaiah Likely, too. Even in the monsoon. I mean, look, Lamar's going to complete passes. It's just a question of to who. And I would say it's probably more short shots to Isaiah Likely.
I'm your huckleberry.
Gage Camplin asked, Purdy stack. Are you stacking him with Ayuk or Debo? Personally, I would stack him with George Kittle.
I do like George Kittle today.
I love
Ayuk will
George
have
Kittle
a bounce back day. Ayuk didn't get used as much in the offense, and I feel like they do this. They rotate around. Like one day it's heavy McCaffrey. I mean McCaffrey's always involved. One day it's heavy Debo. Debo got open early and often. They're about the same price.
Am I the only one that basically has an entire lineup of guys that are playing in the 4 o'clock slate?
No, I have a late slate game only.
I mean, because every game in the 1 o'clock slate's on the East Coast.
Yes.
And it's just, I can't trust the weather. I could easily see this being the most god-awful 1 o'clock slate you've ever seen.
Sure looks that way, doesn't it?
What do you think about Dameon Pierce today?
I'm good.
Nothing. I mean,
you ask me this question every single week. There is no running back that's going to play the New York Jets that I have any fucking interest in, especially if they get 50% of the tote. I'm good. It's the best defense in the league. Them and the Cleveland Browns. I don't want anything that plays against them. I don't care how much you're on the field. I do not care. I warned you against Bijan Robinson last week because I said, look, I like him if he's going to catch passes. He didn't. If it's just, hey, look, I'm going to run behind the guard, sweet. You may break 1 20-yard run the entire day. That's it. If you can't catch passes, you are irrelevant.
Yep.
And Dameon Pierce can't.
Yep. We got a lot of hype for him with the return from his injury, stealing towed away from Singletary. Should I start? Oh, I think we already did that one.
Well, and to what you said about Dameon Pierce, so there was a lot of hoopla about him.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times he scored more than 10 points all year?
I don't think it's been
He had
months,
10.1 last week.
Yeah.
Woo. 15 carries for 41 yards. He averaged 2.5 yards a carry. He has been awful. Awful.
Yep.
I don't understand why he still gets tote, to be really honest with you. Because Devin Singletary has been exponentially better.
Quentin Johnston or KJ Osborne?
KJ Osborne.
Love KJ today.
Stone Sports Podcast is riddled by injuries.
I'll save you from asking any other of those questions as well. You could tell me it was Quentin Johnston or Topanga from Boy Meets World. I'll go Topanga. She might accidentally catch a pass. I'm not so sure Quentin Johnston can do it on purpose.
Right.
That guy's going to be on someone's practice squad next year.
He is bad.
There's no way you can keep him on a roster, right?
He's first round pick, so he'll get 2 or 3 years. Now he may get 2 or 3 targets a year. Whew, Jacksonville crushed by injuries.
Yep.
I think is this the week? Well, Tank is looking through questions to find. Is this the week we play Lamar naked?
I think you can. I think you can. And I'll tell you another guy that I just realized I'm going to be pretty high on. Bijan Robinson. No Vita Vea, no Devin White. And you're playing Desmond Ridder. Yep. And people will be off of him because he was a big grumper last week. God, there's so much room for activities. I want to play so many guns this week.
I did something I rarely do, which is I max entered a contest.
Indeed. It's a good feeling, isn't it?
I have plenty of lineups to add. I think I have something like 40 lineups in this week, so.
Wow. It's a good feeling, isn't it, when it maxes out and you're like, hey,
well, you're like, I'm not playing like, we're not going crazy go nuts, but they're like 20 max 20 entries, and you're like, all right, let's go. This is how the FYI for anyone in chat. This is how the sharps in DraftKings win their money. Is they enter 5 of the same lineup 20 times.
Yep.
So they'll go 5 different lineups and they'll enter them each. If it's a max 20, they'll be four times. And if the lineup's cashing, you'll see it. And you look at the top players, it'll be, except in the millionaire, I don't see as many, but some guys max enter that as well. The sharps, they'll max enter, and you'll see it especially in this is why Jeremy plays single entry.
Yep.
Which is a smart play.
Yeah, because I don't have the weight to play 150 entries in the millionaire.
Nope. 150 entries, a lot.
I don't know how good y'all are at math. That's $3,000. That's what it costs to do that.
That's a lot.
And if you got $3,000, feel free to donate some to the Sportsocracy or Sportsocracy the Ocho.
Bingo.
Go ahead.
So we won't be poor.
Can go big.
Bench one of these for DC Justice. Kyron Williams, Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs. You're off Kyron Williams?
In the monsoon?
Yeah.
Against Baltimore.
Uh-huh.
From sunny LA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely playing Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yes.
So for me, it's between Saquon and Kyron.
Saquon's on the Monday night. It's just a safety blanket thing. Kyron's okay.
Yeah.
Kyron's a dog. Kyron is a dog.
Oh, he's a fantastic player.
Mhm.
I don't see how he's going to do a lot today.
Well, I mean,
That's
if they're
for
not going to be able to
7,300.
pass, then he's the guy, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to have 9 guys in the box.
Yeah.
And your line blows dead bears, and my defense doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I could genuinely see the Baltimore Ravens somehow beating the Rams 46-4 this week.
In a monsoon.
I don't know how they're going to score that many
I was
points.
going to say that's a lot of
No
rushing
clue.
touchdowns for Lamar.
Lot of defensive touchdowns. Get that Ravens defense queued up.
There you go. Flex 1, Swift or Gabe Davis from Kelvin Joyner.
Jeremy loves Gabe Davis.
I
this
do
week.
love Gabe Davis this week. I'll go Gabe Davis. And that's really just, I don't trust Brian Johnson not to do dumb shit.
Yeah.
You
Lawson
like
snaps.
doing dumb things, and it pisses me off.
Yeah. The Lawson snaps for Swift, plus he's going against the Cowboys. It's not a primo matchup for him.
Sure isn't.
Nico or Devontae Smith? That'd have to be Devontae Smith because Nico's playing in the rain game.
Yes.
in the
New
Hurricane.
York.
He's playing
Yes.
in the Hurricane.
And even then, he was going to get Sauce Gardner if it was good weather. So probably wouldn't like that either.
Mm-mm.
You ever look at a DFS lineup and just go, I think I'm turned on right now. Like I think I've gone full 6 to midnight.
You fucking roster baiting over there? Jeez.
Not doing that. That'd be weird. That's crimes.
I don't think it's crimes.
That's totally crimes.
Stone Sports Podcast.
That's Louis C.K. He learned the hard way.
This is Rashad White in there, maybe too. You know, throw.
I don't mind Rashad White.
Throw a bone at Rashad White against the Atlanta Falcons.
Do we have to?
I wouldn't, but you can if you want. Fields over Stroud today. Is that dumb?
Nope.
From Stephen Tao?
Nope. I'd
No,
do it.
There isn't.
I'm not sure I would have done. I'm not sure I wouldn't have done that if everything was equal.
Well, with the
When you tell me it's raining sideways, yeah, I'll pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the Baltimore thing, I think I'm now on Justin Fields as my number one quarterback for the day.
Hey, he's not my one. Josh Allen's my one for the day. Because that is an East Coast game that doesn't have weather. It's just going to be cold, and there's going to be a bajillion D points. And somehow Josh Allen is going to be low-owned, and I don't understand that.
I mean,
Well,
I
it's
guess
because
that's
he's
the price.
$8,300. That's why.
But
Because everybody wants to play.
He's the safest play. If so long as he puts his damn shoes on the right feet, he's going to be real, real good.
You're trying to use that thing in the brain. You're trying
Common
to use
sense.
the brain, and people don't use the thinker. And what they're doing is they go, Justin Jefferson's back this week, and I want to play him, and I want to play Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey. And now they're trying to figure out how they can get Dawdle in a lineup and hope that he scores, because there's you got to play a $1,200 receiver because you have no monies left. They don't understand. There's an art to roster building around your premier guys. You play Allen with Davis or Shakir, who I like better, but Gabe Davis 5,800, and you're in the mix. You got 5,100 on average to spend. You toss in your Ravens defense, which should be your only 2:00 game thing. If you want to be super contrarian, you can play Isaiah Likely at $3,500, who's probably your only pass catcher. Now you got $5,800 a position left. You got plenty of room to play, but people won't do that, Jeremy, because they want to spend money on Justin Jefferson and on Stephon Diggs and on Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey, because they're looking at the over and under totals and they go, San Francisco's going to score 1,000 points. That's where the money is. That's where people are going to play. And I don't fault them for it. But Josh Allen is a play. You can play Josh Allen naked.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't, but you could.
I'm going to play him with Gabe Davis.
Play him with Shakir, play him with Davis, play him with Kincaid.
No Taysom Hill, no Rashid Shaheed today for New Orleans. I'm just looking at the inactives, trying to see if there's anything that. Oh, no Ernest Brown for the Rams.
Taysom Hill is out.
Yes.
Okay.
No Ernest Brown for the Rams. That's your second best defensive player. That is setting up to be a real grumper.
Danny Finsfan throws out a super flex lineup here that looks pretty good to me. He's got Jackson and Fields as his 2 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes James Cook, CEH on the cheap, DJ Moore, Rashee Rice, and Isaiah Likely at the tight end slot. That's pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Travis Kelce. Double tight end.
I like double tight end a lot today.
Double quarterback. Cole Kmet. You like him today?
I'm indifferent on Kmet today.
He's fine. He probably gets in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does.
Are you paying up for Laporta today?
No. My tight ends have been. I'm Kittle. I'm full team Kittle.
Yeah, I'm usually the Laporta guy, and
can't do it.
I don't have
it's
much.
Too much. It's too much. He's going to score. It's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Johnson with a rankum. Devon Achane, Zach Moss, Breece Hall, Jerome Ford. Breece Hall's last by a lot.
A whole lot.
I would say Achane is 1, Moss is 2, Ford is 3, Breece Hall is 9.
Agreed.
Oh, got another one of these.
I'm your
It's
Huckleberry.
from Gage Camplin. He asked Jerick McKinnon or CEH. I have battled with this all day. It really kind of goes to how you think the game is going to go. I feel like Jerick McKinnon is a markedly better running back. I also feel like Andy Reid is a real smart man, and everybody is going to jizz in their jockeys to get CEH in lineups, and I'm not sure that's the right call. I mean, I have pieces of CEH. I also have pieces of Jerick McKinnon. Plus, he's cheap as shit too.
Yep.
If you told me one of them scored 25 points, I'd bet my house it was Jerick McKinnon.
Yes. I would agree with that. Nico? Oh, no. Joshua Penix. Lamar or Goff today?
Lamar.
Obviously, we're on Lamar. I don't think Goff is a bad play. It's just I wouldn't do him over Jackson.
I wouldn't.
Mordenheim.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Nico, Ridley, Nakua. Half PPR.
Nico's in a monsoon. Nakua's in a monsoon. I'll go Ridley.
Yep.
I mean, if you have better options, you can take out guys like Puka Nakua. You can take out guys like Nico. If you don't, I'm Tammy Buchanan's got a question here following up on what we said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
She's got Nakua in the storm. Do I bench him for London or Elijah Moore? I might do it for Drake London. I'm certainly not doing it for Elijah Moore. I know he's got a rapport with Falco. I don't hate that play today. I also look at Jacksonville, and they have no Tyson Campbell. I'm not sure that this is not an Amari Cooper game because I just don't know who you have that's going to stop him.
Well, the wonder is, how healthy is he? And does that matter?
I mean, it always matters. Everybody's dinged up this time of year.
Right.
The thing that I'm stuck on is you're going to have Darius Williams probably. You probably get a lot of Darius Williams on Amari Cooper. And he's really good. He's been really good. But he's also really small. I mean, I think he's 5'9". And that's what he's listed at. He might even be shorter than that.
Yep. I'm all for it, Tammy, if you can get Drake London in there. Because I feel like he's just going to.
So would you play Drake London over Puka?
Yeah. I mean, if it's as bad as you're saying,
it is awful.
I would. I would bench Nakua. But that's just me. Let's see. Chuba or Clyde? When and he's in for who dat dude and me.
I'm not playing Nico.
Yeah, that was. Or do I play Nico in the storm?
Chuba's safer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Chuba's safer. And I think he's probably got a higher upside. It's Chuba. Yeah. I mean, I had to sound it out.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Clyde Edwards-Helaire could have the first good game he's had ever. But if I have other options, I mean, look, we're talking about playing him in DraftKings because he's 4,200.
Yes.
If he falls his fat ass in the end zone, pretty much paid that off.
Yeah.
Here's a question about JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
It's one of my favorite dart throws.
I got a few lineups with him in it.
It's one of my favorite dart throws of the week. He gets the most advantageous matchup of any Seattle receiver.
Yes.
And he is dumb cheap. Yes. 4,100.
And he allows you to do a lot of things. I'll give you I'm going to give that lineup that I gave you earlier, Jeremy. The one that I played CEH in, and Jackson Smith and Jigba is also in this, because by doing the cheap stuff, it allowed me to get Lamar. It allowed me to get Alvin Kamara, and I wanted a piece of Devontae Adams today against Minnesota. So I was able to get those three big ones in there by throwing in a CEH and a Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm starting to rethink the Zay Flowers thing now.
You should.
I mean, it looked good earlier. So let's see. What can I do with that? But I mean, that's a pretty good framework to be able to get the big ones, because like I said, armchair stole it at the beginning of the show from me. I'm just over the moon on Alvin Kamara today, because he is going to eat the Panthers alive.
I don't hate Alvin Kamara.
Yeah,
I understand why you're saying it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Here's his JSN lineup: Lamar Jackson, Bijan Robinson, Jerick McKinnon, Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, JSN, likely Kelsey, and the Ravens defense. It's not bad.
Not a thing wrong with that.
Dark Soldier, morning. This is Jared Goff, Jake Browning, Josh Dobbs. Which one of those do you like more? I'd go Goff.
I would go Goff. I would go Goff. Dobbs, Browning. I think people are overvaluing Jake Browning. The fact he's going to be the highest owned quarterback on the slate makes me very happy, because that has the possibility to just be a train wreck written all over it.
I don't like it.
Jonna says CEH start and sit Sutton, Cortland Sutton. That feels like a big risk.
It does me too. I don't like Cortland Sutton. CEH to me is almost exclusively DraftKings.
Yeah.
Or you're just murdered at running back.
Yeah. But if you're looking for, if you need safe, like if you're in one of these in it and win it, or win and end situations, I would definitely go with Cortland Sutton rather than taking the gamble on CEH. To me, that's just a coin flip as to who between him and McKinnon is actually going to be good today.
It is. It is absolutely a coin flip. I am curious what you guys think about Zay Jones as a dart throw. Boy, he's cheap. He's so cheap.
Zay is he is a cheap man.
I just look at the rest of that. So Cleveland, I like some pieces from Cleveland. Ridley's going to be the guy that's probably owned a bunch. Your number 2 receiver is Zay Jones. I mean, unless you're really big on Parker Washington.
And I think he's fine. And I'm not jumping up and down to do it, but
$3,700.
I gotta step out for
That's in the fun place.
I'm I'm running into the problem of there's too many damn running backs that I want to play today. Because I'm underweight on Javonte Williams right now. There is a possibility by the time we end the show, I will have 0 shares of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Because the more I'm thinking about this, the harder it's getting for me to do.
It's 5,800. It's not a bad place to go.
I love Javonte. I mean, the Chargers are god-awful against the run. He's going to catch some passes.
Yes.
The only problem is it's borderline impossible to play Josh Allen with 2 stud running backs. I really like DJ Moore today. And there's not many cheap receivers that I like today. Do you have one other than Jackson Smith and Jigba that you like? And Zay Jones?
I mean, I had Shakir out there. I don't think... No? Not. I mean...
I can't even afford Shakir. I got to go lower than that.
Alec Pierce?
I don't hate
That's
it.
A boomer bust guy.
Am I crazy for wanting to play Jonathan Mingo?
Would you rather play Jamison Williams?
No.
I'm your huckleberry.
How you feeling about Mac Hollins?
No.
I'm your huckleberry.
Shout out to Dark Soldier, who literally just super chatted. Thank you for answering this question. That's awful kind of you. And Gage Kaplan with
I'm your huckleberry.
CH or JSN Flex DFS. I'm going Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yes.
Same.
I said while you were while you stepped out. By the time we end the show, I may have 0 shares of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The further down this I go, the more I'm going, wait a minute. Listen, listen, Mullet.
Mm-hmm.
You've been bashing this dude's brains out for 4 years, and now you're going to play him? That seems like you're doing that thing. It ultimately leads to you looking at one little big lame-ass snowflake at 7:25 tonight going, fuck Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah. Why the hell did I do that to myself?
I mean, you can look if you want to like real dart throw, like we're talking like mega dart throw territory. We can get into the Hunter Renfrows.
That's no.
Yikes.
No, sir.
I
No,
mean,
sir.
look, 9 points. He's got 3,100 cost.
I keep finding myself in this like $4,000-ish range, and I just hate every friggin' bit of it.
It's Elijah Moore at $4,500.
You're not wrong, and I know you're not wrong. Because that
Or you
is
can go KJ
that's Joe
$4,000.
Flacco's little buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Have we gotten a definitive that Flacco's the one starting today?
I haven't seen
I
that.
haven't seen it, but they're both up. So, I mean, are we literally just going to have to wait and see who trots out on the field? That feels very NBA-ish.
I don't like that at all.
I don't either.
42 minutes ago, Joe Flacco is expected to start.
That's not what I want, Tank.
I know. I'm efforting. I'm trying to find it for you. Not seeing
Well, Tank
anything.
is digging in there. Jeremy, there's a game that we haven't talked about enough, and I'm really curious if you would pay up for any of those guys that are playing in Minnesota, Las Vegas. Because I find myself, I like Josh Dobbs a little bit, not a lot. But I also like Devontae Adams a lot.
I like Devontae.
And I keep looking at that and going, is everybody just not playing Devontae Adams because they forgot that he doesn't have Jimmy Garoppolo anymore?
Well, I mean, the problem with Devontae is he's in a price range where there's a lot of guys that people like better, and it's been a long time since that 45-point game earlier in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And he hasn't paid off that salary since then. Now, Minnesota sucks defensively.
Yep.
So if there was ever a week that he could get just roasty-toasty on a defense, it would be this week. Scott Petrak said the Cleveland Browns are not going to name a starter before the game, but Joe Flacco was up first in warm-ups. It's a real good indicator that he's going to be the starter.
Yes. seeing both of them taking warm-up shots here in on the sidelines.
Well, I mean, they're both going to. The question is who comes up first and runs with the ones. And that was Flacco. And that's, by the way, who should be playing.
Yep.
Cleveland still has playoff aspirations. If you didn't, then hell yeah, roll out DTR. Joe Flacco gives you a better chance to win right now.
Yep. Isaiah Crandall throwing out the shout out here for Cedric Tillman. And David Njoku.
Njoku is going to be real popular. And I don't hate it. I'm not doing it, but I don't hate it.
Are the Ravens the only defense to play in DFS? Danny Fence fan says.
They're not the only one, but they're a pretty damn good one.
Yes.
They're the best one.
I would agree. For the price especially.
I think I'm going Rashee Rice. And I'll just be, oh, shit. There's not a defense that cheap. I hate DraftKings. I will give you $100 to let me play a defense.
Right.
They don't.
Why does DraftKings not allow me to do that? I will give you $100 US to just let me play the Seahawks defense, which is going to get the piss beat out of them.
Brevin Jordan, have you mentioned his name today?
No, and I wasn't planning on it.
Stone Sports Podcast says he doesn't love Brevin Jordan, but he's 3,100, and it lets him double up with George Kittle.
Hey, who? I mean, in theory, who's he play for?
The Houston Texans.
Okay. Are they playing in a monsoon?
Yes.
Okay. Are they playing against the New York Jets?
Yes.
Okay.
But he's a tight end.
I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Doesn't matter in this case.
He's not a good one. If you told me right now to set the over-under on passing yards between the Jets and the Texans, because New York is getting the worst of it. Baltimore's getting pounded right now. And there's a meteorologist. I can't remember his name.
But around game time, it's supposed to be worse in New York. Is that what I'm
Yes.
Where you're going?
Kevin Ross. He tweeted this out, 10 minutes ago. Said, in Baltimore, the heaviest of the rain is well east and clearing farther northeast. I'd expect a light to moderate rain early in the game, tapering off as the game goes on to lighter off and on showers. Still wet, especially early, but as good an outcome as you could ask for. It is piss pouring right now, but it does look like that's probably going to dwindle off.
Oh, so it will be scattered showers. Nice.
But the wind in Baltimore.
The wind is going to be a bitch. And the field is soaked.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the tarp, it's still soaked.
Jared Goff or C.J. Stroud?
Jared Goff. I want nothing to do with that Jets-Texans game.
Yep.
Nothing. Nobody.
Yep. The only
go to Twitter. Follow Jameson Hensley. He's a great fellow ESPN man. He is in Baltimore. And he recorded a video of what was happening through the tunnel in Baltimore. Now just understand that what is happening right there is going to be happening in that New York-Houston game the entire game. Because the heaviest rain is going to hit New York at about 1 o'clock and just bash their brains out for 3 hours.
All right. Next question. Seeing another. Oh, here we go. Bears defense 6th in EPA in the last 8 weeks, and they're 2,400.
I don't mind the Bears defense today. That's the one. If I'm going super cheap, it's them or the Broncos. Problem is that with the 8 dudes that I want to play, I can afford no defenses.
But where do you see the final score of that Detroit-Chicago game being? And because that's the problem I have. I think there's going to be many points scored in that game.
I don't agree with you.
And I just don't know if there's going to be a defensive score.
Let me see if this changed over the course of the week.
It's at 44.5 right now.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm looking for. And 90% of the money's on the under. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Really?
Yes. The value's on the under. That's one of those that across the board, every metric I use says under. That's the under in that game is one of the bigger bets I have today.
Okay.
Speaking of which, you can take any of these wagers to betus.com. Use our promo code Sportsocracy, and they'll give you a whole bunch of free shit. See, that's how I can do that promo when we're not on the radio, and I don't have to be a company man. Just, hey, go get your free shit.
Get your free shit.
Let's see. Cannon Drummond asked, so does that mean I should start Cup over Garrett Wilson today? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you should. You should start Cooper Manning ahead of Garrett Wilson today. He said, or Jacoby Myers. I like Jacoby Myers, too. For whatever reason, he has a better connection with Aiden O'Connell than Devontae Adams does. Everything they do to Devontae feels forced.
Because it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just because of the attention that he gets?
I mean, it's part of it. He's always going to get the number one.
It's easier for a young quarterback who isn't mega experienced to hit the less complicated.
Hit the
It's the
crosser
open
rather
guy.
than the deep guy? Is that what you're talking?
Well, I mean, it's easier. It's an easier throw to hit the guy that's less covered than it is like you have to put that in a perfect position for Devontae to do something. And if you miss it, Devontae's going to be pissed. And then you got, receivers yelling at you, and nobody wants that.
Right.
It's
Get
also
your
5,700.
Get your fantasy questions in there. Hey, Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes,
You feel you got any Brock Purdy shares
I sure
today?
do.
I do too. The problem is I keep going back and forth on who to pair him with. And we know Jeremy's all in on George Kittle.
Yes,
Because that's the right answer, he says.
I like Kittle.
But I want a piece of Ayuk and I want a piece of Samuel too. So I ended up having
That's too many.
No, I'm not saying in the same lineup. I ended up having like 3 different lineups that I had to throw in with Brock Purdy because I just didn't know which one to get.
I mean, we can do it. It just looks funny.
Right. But it's not a safe play, is it?
I like Ayuk.
I do
Maybe
too.
you're pairing him with a wide receiver. You pair him with Ayuk, but Kittle is a safe bet, a very safe bet to play well today. So I think it's hard to avoid Kittle in this instance. I mean, how do you go away from that? He's been coming on lately too, so he's been playing well. I think that it's hard to take Purdy and not put Kittle in there. Like Jeremy said, he's got many double tight end lines today. I look at it and go, okay, well, let's see what we can do with that. Let's see if we can pair something that makes sense. I wouldn't be afraid to go Ayuk and Kittle, to be honest with you, which I've done multiple times.
You have done multiple times. And if you're doing that, obviously, you're playing Purdy?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. You play here. We will build the lineup and we'll put it in because I try to do this every week and it doesn't always work. But let's build a Purdy stack that makes people feel warm and fuzzy. Just because I think that there's a good possibility that it gets play today. All right, so we go Purdy at quarterback, James Cook and Jerome Ford at running back, Ayuk, Davis, and Elijah Moore at wide receiver, George Kittle at tight end. In the flex spot, I tossed in Alexander Madison and the Ravens defense.
Okay. I like that.
I think you get every piece that you need there.
Right.
I don't think you're missing anything.
We're all under the assumption here that San Francisco is going to roll today against Seattle.
I don't see how you could look at that game and it's going to go any other way.
Precisely. Is there any piece of Seattle that you want?
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
JSN's a dart throw, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Seattle is playing with a potentially injured quarterback. And Kenny Walker's coming back from injury. That doesn't excite me.
especially not
Charbonnet
against San Francisco.
Charbonnet is also dinged up. That doesn't excite me. Debo will eat if the quarterback can stay healthy. Like if Geno's upright, he'll get the ball out to some of these guys. But I guess he's been dealing with a groin injury the last 2 weeks. I don't love Seattle at all today. But I think you need to have a piece of that game because I think San Francisco scores. I think they have at least 21 points, probably more. And I don't see how you can look at that and go, all 3 touchdowns are probably not going to McCaffrey, although he's likely to get into the end zone. One of either Debo or Ayuk or Kittle, all 3 of them could theoretically score in the game.
Breaking news here. Mary Kay Cabot. Joe Flacco will start today against the Cleveland.
It makes me like Elijah
against
Moore.
The Jacksonville Jaguars. That is definitive, she says. So, fire up your Elijah Moore. And that's the only part of that game that I want. Maybe
yes.
the defense.
I don't mind Jerome Ford if you just have to.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good running back.
Yep.
He's a good running team.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a reason that you should always have one hunk of nicely cooked dead animal in your fridge. And that's because when you start seeing dead relatives after just a porous night of drinking during the Army-Navy game, you can eat that and not die.
Yes.
So if you're wondering why I just randomly went off screen, it's because I think I was about to cross over.
He had to eat something before his stomach started to eat him.
I remembered that the last thing I ate was a tacho at 4 o'clock yesterday.
I do love the tachos.
I do too.
But you only had one? That's gross.
One basket. Fuck off. Okay.
One basket.
What are you, a cop?
There you go. Well, he said tacho, and I went, what, did you just steal it off somebody's plate as you were walking out the door? Yeah, that counts. That counts.
Food, carb, yum.
That'll soak up all them 17 fireballs I just had.
Christ.
Somehow I turned into Dan Moon when he impersonated me.
When you get drunk, you do.
No, usually I turn into who's a muteman.
He gets all stoned. Just
nope.
I don't want to talk to anybody for fear of what I might say.
Probably wouldn't be good.
No, never a good idea. You need that extra filter in there. I know we hadn't talked about it much because it's on the late slate tonight, but Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, who do you think? Who's gonna take the prize tonight? Who
wins?
Who will show up in a big spot and win it for their team?
I mean, if I had to bet on one, I would say Jalen Hurts finds a way to win.
Yeah. I'm feeling like this is a narrative buster game for Dak. He needs that game where he gets everybody on his side, or at least more on his side than they have been. I just look at this game, and I think that it means so much more for Dallas than it does for Philly. We got a super chat.
I'm your huckleberry.
This is from Be the Example.
Well, that's a new name.
Mm-hmm. So it might be a dumb question. Quarterback flex league, Joe Flacco or Keaton Mitchell?
Joe Falco.
I'm your huckleberry.
Yes.
It's close.
I would say for the most part, unless you're playing like Tommy DeVito or having to play him, that would be like the only quarterback that I would go, no, let's not go there.
And look, I like Keaton Mitchell. I said this earlier. The thing he does really, really well is be really, really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem is it's raining in Baltimore, and wet slows everything down.
Yep.
So I like Gus. If you had asked me Gus Edwards or Joe Falco, now we're cooking with gas. I might play Gus Edwards in that scenario. I just think Flacco's safe for, I don't know, 16 today.
I like that.
I think he's going to throw a touchdown.
That's reasonable.
Shouldn't throw more than one interception.
Mm-hmm.
Should have about 240 yards.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate it. be the example.
But definitely not a stupid question.
Yeah, no. Bradley Presley needs a flex spot. Does he go Zach Moss, Javonte Williams, Breece Hall, or Puka Nacua? Well, two of those we've already
one of the first two. I don't think you can go wrong either way. I would probably go Zach Moss slightly ahead of Javonte Williams, but I'm playing both in DraftKings today, if that tells you anything.
Yeah, Bradley, if you're just joining us, we say that because Puka and Breece Hall are both playing in horrendous rain.
Now, the from what is being said by meteorologists, of which you trust this at your own peril, the worst of it in Baltimore will be over by game time. It should get to spotty showers by the second half, which means Puka probably comes back into play. Breece Hall wouldn't have been in play for me in the best of times because the Jets' offense sucks.
Breece Hall's in play next season.
Yes, with Aaron Rodgers. Not with cherub boy Zach Wilson, who may run off crying after he pees his pants because he didn't want to play in this game in the first place.
Did not want to play. Man did not want to play.
That is so terrible.
You want to play today? I think I'm good.
Nah, I'm good.
I'm your huckleberry.
Gage Camplin with a banger 4-leg parlay. He's got the Bears plus 3.5. Ravens, Rams under. Bucks plus 1.5. I had to think about who the favorite was. And Zach Wilson under 187.5 passing yards. That pays 14-1. I like every section of it. I'm not sure that I would be as in on the Bears. I would be in on the under of that game more than I would be on the Bears. Mainly because it is the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
And they are always a risk to shit in your punch bowl.
43 minutes to go, and I finally got it. It's 35 lineups. That's what I have entered today.
Indeed.
It's an aggressive day.
I'm trying to fix my final, my big boy, the hammer lineup, the one that's going in the most places. And I'm really struggling.
Well, I got to take Zay Flowers. Well, you know what? I might leave Zay Flowers on. I don't like tinkering. I feel like as soon as you start, unless there's a guy that's out, I don't like tinkering.
You're anti-tinker?
I think that you just enter a new lineup. If you got a great idea, don't play with a lineup you already. You enter a lineup for a reason. When you made your decisions on that lineup, you were either going with a gut instinct or a feeling or analytical data or our advice, and you said, this is what I want to do. And then if you go in and you change that, you're second guessing everything. And I've never had great outcomes when I've second guessed myself in basically any situation. I stick with my guns, and sometimes it burns me, and I'm fine with that. I've been wrong plenty, but I've been right more. And if I played a Joe Flacco line, which I have 11% ownership on Joe Flacco, I have a lot of quarterbacks owned. I like it. If I went Alvin Kamara, it's because I felt a certain way about Alvin Kamara. If I get another idea, then it's a new lineup. It's a completely different situation, and I'm feeling something because of information I got right now. I don't want to play around with stuff that I was feeling at that time.
It's a good point. Adam Gulzim, please tell me how to say your name because I feel like I probably just butchered that. He asked, do I start DK Metcalf with no Geno or Amari Cooper? There is a possibility that Geno doesn't play today.
I mean, I would go.
And
Amari
even if he
Cooper.
does,
I would say Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper's safer. Now, here's where I will, and I said this earlier, with Jacksonville, their best corner is Darius Williams, who will probably be on Amari Cooper. And he is very good. He's also very small. And Amari Cooper doing that thing he does, being really physical, I think he can pick on Darius Williams. I like Elijah Moore better solely because Joe Flacco likes Elijah Moore better. They have a rapport from their time with the Jets. He's one of my favorite cheap options today now that I know that Flacco's starting. But in that situation, I don't trust what I'm going to get potentially out of Drew Lock.
Yeah.
And they signed another quarterback that I believe will be up today if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, there are no lies. Anything that you just said. Groin is what is causing the game time decision for Geno. Locke is prepared.
He's been playing under this groin injury for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's apparently worse now than it was, though.
Yes, because he's been playing on it for 2 weeks, playing like shit.
So
When
you're
hurt,
saying
don't play.
he's been playing with a groin.
He's been playing with a groin.
Is that what we're saying here?
That's what he did for most of the early part of his career. Was just play with.
That's what I did for
groin.
most of my teens.
It's called college, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Do we want to touch on the Monday night all night slate since we have some brief amount of time, and I know that people are kind of getting in there. There is a DraftKings prime time only. It's the 3 games. That's our night game tonight and our double header tomorrow.
I told both of you that I was going to find a way to get this in there. The NFL told me that this doubleheader was going to be fun.
Yes.
And you know what I say to that?
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Tax living night.
I've been torturing Tank with this song all week long.
Oh.
It's the only good Fleetwood Mac song that was ever written.
See, and it's not the song that bothers me. It's when he says stupid shit like that. Ugh.
Well, I mean, and in fairness, you tell me that Fleetwood Mac is good.
Good.
And,
Great.
And you know what I say to that? Fleetwood Mac sucks. And Stevie Nicks sounds like a fucking goat. That's the only song where she doesn't sound like a goat.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Dow said Geno's been ruled out.
Yep.
I have not seen that. But I also got hammered during the Army Navy game.
Showing up on his season-long, somebody has ruled him out. I have not seen an official announcement.
I have not either.
If it's John Paul Morosi, don't listen to him. Fuck that liar.
Wow.
He's still considered, according to Roto World, he's still questionable. Drew Lock is prepared to start, but Geno has not been ruled out yet.
Mm-hmm.
Morosi said that Ohtani was coming to Toronto, so this is why I'm allowed to be mad at him.
Did that upset you?
Yes, well, because I wanted Ohtani to come to Toronto, and then it was like, "Hey, LOL, I lied. My bad."
No
Oops, oopsie poopsie. Well, I mean,
you're an insider, you jackass. You can't say shit like.
But in all of the things that were going to happen in that scenario, he was never going to Toronto, was he?
oh yeah, that was. I mean, betting line had him. I think they were third.
Were they?
Well, by the end of yesterday, they were. Ahead of yesterday, they were basically neck and neck. I think it was like 110 to minus 110, minus 115, either of them. I'll get into it more on the Ocho for sure because I don't want to steal some thunder from that. But what you just said, Tank, there are so many things and reasons why it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been some reports out there that get into that it was actually just a leverage play to get more money from sunny Los Angeles because it's an overpay. And I'll get into it Wednesday at 8 Eastern.
There's a lot.
Can't wait.
Speaking of that, just until we get another question, I do have to address something that I can't say this on the ESPN show. There's a possibility that I'll have it confirmed by tomorrow. Have you heard anything about the Cam Ward thing?
Mm-mm.
All right, so I told you Cam Ward's going to Ohio State.
Washington State.
Yeah.
To Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. It's $5 million. That was what it was going to cost.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Day apparently promised it to Cam Ward, and then the collective refused to cut the check.
Oh.
They refused to cut the check.
Awesome.
And so now his recruitment is back open, and it looks like he could be headed to Florida State.
Well, there you go. It's better than DJ Uiagalelei.
Hell yeah.
So,
hey,
good for you.
Florida State fellers. I mean, I can't cut you a check for $5 million, but I know at least 3 boosters that can.
Yep, that's all it's going to cost you.
And one of them don't live all that far from here. Hell, I run by his house on my way home. Hey, take me for a ride in your sweet-ass helicopter. B, need you to cut a check because we need to not have DJ Uiagalelei.
Agreed. Is there a Drew Lock lineup?
No, God.
Stephen Tow's
Sweet
asking.
baby Lord, no.
No, sir.
On purpose?
He said jokes.
He said that's a joke.
Yeah,
he doesn't really want you to build one of those.
He's just joshing. I'd rather you play a Drew Stanton lineup than a Drew Lock lineup.
Let's see here.
Danny Finn's fan said start 3, Javonte Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jerick McKinnon, Breece Hall, Keaton Mitchell, Khalil Herbert, full PPR.
The first 3. I think Williams, Gibbs, and McKinnon. And
I would agree.
Forget the rest of it.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Well, I can't trust a damn thing the rest of the way. I feel like people want to treat Keaton Mitchell like he's Devon A-Chain, and that's not.
He's been pretty good.
Is he on that level yet?
Ooh.
Is he? No.
I don't think he is.
He's fast. He's a fast man.
Mm-hmm.
They do have that in common.
I mean, if you can find you some Keaton Mitchell or have Keaton Mitchell in a dynasty or something, that maybe one day he could be on that level. But
I don't think so. I think that he's a tool in the toolbox, but I think that the Gus bus is the God, if every time you're at the goal line, they're not giving it to Keaton Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
It's Lamar to Andrews, or in this case, likely, or it's Gus Edwards running, 3 inches at a time into the goal line.
Yep. Danny Fence.
They're not running Keaton Mitchell up the middle.
Right. Danny Fence says he's sick and tired of that comparison. Yes, I am as well. That's why I mentioned it, because I've seen it a lot. Boo. Drew Carey lineup. What is that?
He's the host of the Price is Right.
Mm-hmm.
$1, Bob.
Is that all the cheapest things that you can find? Is that where we're calling that? The price.
Drew Lock. I said Drew Stanton. He said Drew Carey.
Aha. Gotcha. Khalil Shakir or Romeo Dubs?
Khalil Shakir. Armchair convinced me. I now have Khalil Shakir in a handful of DFS lineups.
Mm-hmm.
He's too cheap.
I have a Josh Allen double stack with no Dalton Kincaid and no Stephon Diggs. I'm full on riding the Lightning.
I have a couple of naked lineups, a couple of quarterback naked lineups.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a weird day. I think it's interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see.
I just want Kincaid to be cheaper, and he should be cheaper because he never scores touchdowns, ever. He gets 1 billion targets, but never scores touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I also have no piece of Kansas City, which makes me it gives me the.
You
edge
should
of
have
it.
a piece. You should have.
I mean, I have Travis Kelce, just not in this lineup, and I don't really trust anything else.
Holt says he's playing a weird lineup with Brock Purdy at quarterback. You and 10 billion other men.
Yeah, he's the second most owned quarterback on the slate. And I actually think he'll end up being the most owned.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have that projection off.
Flex.
Because I swear to God, I've heard Brock Purdy from every analyst that I even kind of respect. And I get it.
I like Brock Purdy.
I also think there's a great chance that game is friggin' beat down by the end of the second quarter. Danny Finn's fan said double stack Buffalo without Diggs and Kincaid, so Knox and Shakir. No, Gabe Davis and Shakir. I like too many running backs. I'm playing that third flex spot in the bulk of my lineups will be running back because I want Javonte Williams, I want Bijan Robinson, I want Zach Moss.
Mm-hmm. Anybody spinning up for Christian McCaffrey today?
I'm not. I don't think you have to.
I don't think you have to.
That's why I was out on Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
You both liked Kamara that much. The only time I pay up for running backs like that is if I can't get 2.
If it's terrible matchups.
Yeah, if I'm looking at that 6,000 tier, just going.
I just look at it and I go, I want to have the guy that has a 35 today.
I
It
have
could be
zero
either one
shares
of
of McCaffrey.
I
do have like 46% ownership on Kamara though.
Here's my problem with Kamara. I think all 3 running backs that I said are safe for 25.
Mm-hmm.
Kamara would have to have 35, and I'm not so sure he's going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to understand, they're down to it's Olave and A.T. Perry.
Yep.
That's what they have on the outside.
Mhm.
There's no Taysom Hill, which is one of the things that kind of opens up all of this. And I think that's why everybody's so in love with Kamara. I would say it's more likely that Jamal Williams gets the Taysom Hill shares than that they just inundate Kamara with touches. They don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
This is a terrible Carolina team that they should beat because they showed up. And yes, it's a great matchup. They're the worst run defense in the league.
I was going to say.
I get it.
but this is the New Orleans Saints, who haven't been able to beat anybody just by showing up.
That's true.
And they had to feed him last week with the Detroit game, but they won't be playing from right. It won't be that high scoring of an affair.
No,
with Carolina.
Yeah, that's another game that I love the under. I don't. I mean, I think, look, if I'm playing anybody in that game, it's Kamara. I can't find myself doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate so much of this slate in the cheap tier that I just can't get there.
Yep.
I mean, I'm having to get there at receiver. So,
Sutton or Hopkins today from Jonna?
Ugh.
Sutton for me.
Oh,
Who's Tennessee playing?
I'm glad I wasn't the only one that was struggling with that.
aren't they playing on?
They're playing Monday night against
Monday night.
Miami. He's
that's
going to get
fine.
Jalen Ramsey. It's Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
I
it's
don't like
Cortland
it.
Sutton.
I don't like it because I don't like Cortland Sutton much. But Holt asked Rashee Rice or Damian Pierce. It's Rashee Rice for me by a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree with that.
And then Michael Meadows has a PPR DJ Moore or Brandon Ayuk. Can only play one.
I'm going to go DJ.
I am too. I think this is a kill week in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I still like Ayuk.
I like Ayuk. But you're also asking me one of the players that I feel the best about today.
Yeah.
I love DJ Moore today.
Yeah.
I wanted to get
feel
him in
they're gonna
DraftKings
kill it.
lineups and couldn't do it.
They're going to put up big numbers. Fields and Moore will probably put up big numbers in this game.
Are they?
I think so. I think they will. Fields especially. I mean, I don't think he's scored less than 21 points when he's played Detroit. So they give a lot of rushing yards to him. And he'll probably get in the end zone. And if he doesn't, then it's going to be a dump off to DJ Moore that gets into the end zone. What do you think Gibbs' stats look like today?
Oh, I'll say he gets somewhere in the neighborhood of 14 to 16 touches, probably has 80 yards, and may very well get in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
They're still insistent on using David Montgomery. For what reason? I have absolutely no idea.
Working.
Is it, though?
Sorta.
Yeah.
I mean, his fat ass keeps falling in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
He's also averaging like 2.4 yards a carry or something stupid like that.
They don't care. They hammer you with Montgomery, and then they swing something out to Gibbs for 36 yards, and they're like, look, it works.
It does
It
work.
works.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You watch the tape, and it is so obvious which one of those running backs should be playing more.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it is.
All right. No more questions. You want to throw them in there? We'll get to them here in just a minute. We got no more inactives to go through.
Nope. It is that time.
We know everybody that's going to play in the 1 o'clock slate, supposedly. Or at least have a good idea about it. Again, your big weather games, Baltimore, New York, any others to be real concerned about?
Concerned about weather-wise?
Mm-hmm.
Chicago's going to be cold and windy.
It's going to be windy.
Cincinnati's going to be cold and windy. Cleveland, it's going to be windy. Pretty good chance that you see rain at some point. New York's going to be a monsoon. Baltimore is like a mini monsoon. And then the 4 o'clock games, there's really nothing to worry about because they're all on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great game. This is a great day to play games in domes. Because there will be wind in every 1 o'clock game. Which is why I am really stacking up that Kansas City Buffalo game.
Mm-hmm. Which really sucks for today because 2 of the dome games are not the greatest of the day. Between Atlanta and Tampa and New Orleans and the Carolina Panthers.
It's ugly. It's an ugly early slate. Everybody's just waiting until the night game tonight. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Danny Finsfan asked if Kelsey goes Nanners today.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great chance of it because they don't have anybody that can defend him. That would be a Milano thing, and he ain't here.
Right.
B. Malik said, with Watson out today, I feel like Dobbs will have a good day. Be careful of that one. Green Bay does not function like that.
No.
Watson's the deep shot and the manufactured touch guy. Manufactured touches will go to Jaden Reed. Deep shots will go to Dontavian Wicks. I don't think Watson being out changes Romeo Dobbs at all.
Mm-hmm. Everything I've read said the expectation should be that it's an upshot for Wicks more than anybody.
Wicks is the deep shot. He is the deep threat. I like him a lot today, or this weekend, I should say, because they don't play until tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Cooks or Amari Cooper in a half PPR? I'd be on Cooks.
I am too. I don't like it, but
I'm taking
because it sounds weird to say that out loud.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Amari Cooper is a markedly better receiver, but for today, I want pieces of that game. Mm-hmm. I'm really glad that game's not in the main slate. Because I feel like you'd have to have 4 pieces of it to have a shot.
Right. Mostert over Javonte Williams, correct? Is this what Bradley Presley wants to know? And I don't think so. Javonte Williams should start over Raheem Mostert, shouldn't he?
I don't know.
I mean, if we're on Achane, then you got to be off Mostert, don't you?
No, that's not how that's worked at all. They've had multiple games where they both had over 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of those games, they scored 70 fucking points, so
Right.
I'm not so sure I can expect that to happen again.
Right.
I think I'm on Mostert. Not by much, though.
I cannot find Raheem Mostert in my rankings. Apparently he died, and I just didn't rank him this week.
You just said never mind.
Where the hell is he?
You forgot he existed.
Oh, it would help if I was looking at... Whew, I'm tired. I need to go sleepies. Let's see. I have Javonte slightly ahead of Raheem Mostert. It's close, though.
B. Malik, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Is that a good play this week?
I don't trust him because I think he sucks at football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that's how you're going to attack Buffalo. They're good up front. Their corners suck, and you have absolutely nothing to slow down Travis Kelce. I have talked myself out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire over the course of this show. I started this show at probably 60% shares of Helaire. I'm down to about 6.
Mm-hmm. Danny Fans is having too much fun. Just put a lineup using just Bills and Chiefs with the Bears defense.
Hell, with the way this day's going, that might be the way to go.
It's bold strategy there. I mean, you're getting what you think, all the pieces of the shootout game, right?
Yeah.
I guess that could be a useful strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Have you won doing that before?
Great strategy.
It's a fantastic strategy because instead of having 5 games that score a lot, you have to you deal with 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing: if you now the problem is if that game doesn't shoot out and it hits the under, which a lot more people are on than you would think, then you're
in trouble.
Dead.
Yes.
Yeah, you're dead in the water immediately.
I mean, hell, the week that the Dolphins scored 70, that guy had 7. The guy that won the millionaire had 7 Dolphins,
which means he was ready to lose.
Oh yeah, and he also probably played 200 lineups and probably had one of those for every team in the fucking league. And he's probably done it every week since and said, shit, $5,000 or $6,000 on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But he won the million.
Before we get out of here, can I just say the Steelers let Bailey Zappi throw 3 touchdowns. What a joke.
You do realize that our game, your Patriots, my Jets, Week 18. First of all, the over-under should be 6.
Yeah, I'd still take the under.
I would too. And that may be for the second or third pick in the draft.
Yeah. I don't want the Patriots to win because it impacts draft position, but
it'll be the one time I want you to beat us.
But honestly, I'm looking at it and going, I just don't know. The Steelers have lost to 2 2-win teams in a row.
Mm-hmm.
In a row.
At home.
Yep.
It's never been worse.
Oh,
I mean, at least not in the modern era.
Right?
First team over 500 to lose to 2 teams 8 games below 500.
Yeah. Sorry, HWA.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's rough. Do we have last second questions here? Here's a lineup from Danny Finn's fan: Mahomes, Cook, James Cook, I guess, McKinnon, Diggs, Shakir, Rashee Rice, Kelsey, Knox. The Bears defense. Okay,
I know you got to go. I know you got to go cheap, but Dawson Knox is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. Don't go Knox.
And I would also have Josh Allen, not Mahomes.
He says that. Should I switch it? Allen and CEH for Mahomes and McKinnon.
Yes.
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah,
I would.
Stone says it would be poetic that the first time the Jets beat us in a decade is the one time they want them to lose. that would be the jettiest thing to happen. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers comes back for that one game.
Let's see. Last one here. B. Malik says must-win week for him in fantasy. You taking Dubs over Wicks and Shakir? No.
I would take Wicks over all of them. Yeah.
I would take Wicks, Shakir, Dubs.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I would go
the same. Shakir, Dubs. Absolutely. All right. That'll do it for us. We got to get our lineup set. So we can make sure to win all the fantasy monies today. Hopefully this all helped you out.
Oh, wait. So, Tank, you think you're going to win all the fantasy monies today?
Probably not.
You sure?
Yes! I'm going to win ones of dollars. In all my free games that I play on DraftKings.
I'm going to drunkenly call you and sing that song later. That's happening. That's going to happen.
Sure you will. We'll make sure to put it on the new surround sound system at the house.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
Yeah. I did that yesterday and freaked my wife out. Just throw the Bluetooth on. It's quite funny. Quite funny. All right. We will see you here tomorrow as we recap everything in Week 14. Get you set for the Monday night doubleheader tomorrow, of course. An overreaction Monday in the Sportsocracy.
I will be not glasses up, and hopefully we'll feel way better.
Play that song again.
Allegedly.
Oh shoot! I got my thing done at me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to come up with a button for that. It's too good when each one of us says dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna drink tonight. Boop.
Everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll be back with you tomorrow at noon. And, yes, do not forget to check out Armchair Commentary and Stone Sports Podcast on the Ocho. Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. A lot's going into the Shohei Ohtani deal. How was the rug pulled out from under the Canadians? Shohei Ohtani was supposed to go to Toronto.
He used us, bastard.
Yeah, that's right. We will talk to y'all tomorrow. Be good.